We had about 4 weeks ago now, 3 weeks before our Vacation Bible School started, our head elder came up with this idea to have a Vacation Bible School for the community. We didn't have a leader assigned yet. He just came up with the idea, and so he approached one of our church members and said, "Can you do this in 3 weeks?" And she said, "No way." He said, "Well, what if we got all the materials, put everything together, and what if we did it that way?" So she said, "Okay, if you can do that." So she got a group together that afternoon. They sat down and started visiting. They got a crafts coordinator, they got a decorations coordinator, they got all these coordinators right then and there that day, sat down and had a meeting and decided how to pull this off. We started the planning. The very next Sabbath, we had flyers ready to go out into the community. We passed out about 500 flyers. Our church is right in the middle of a community. We have next door neighbors on every side. If we get a little loud in there, they can hear us. That's how close they are. And so we just went to the entire community with about 500 flyers, letting them know to come to Vacation Bible School.
How did you get the flyers out to the community?
We took the flyers that had been given, we had printed, and we took 30 or so individuals that committed to stay by Sabbath afternoon in the heat and humidity of New Orleans, and we went door to door with them. We assigned each person a block, 2 by 2, and they just worked down their block. Leaving the first time, we just left flyers in the doors, or on their doorpost or something like that. You know, if they were standing in the yard, we'd stop and talk to them and hand them the flyer and say, "Hey, we've got a fantastic program for your kids. Why don't you bring them by and show it? Let them come by and join us." I thought there would be a lot of problem. I noticed our flyer said Seventh-day Adventist on it, and I was a little bit concerned about that. But the phone calls that I got, the number that they advertised was mine, and the phone calls I got was, "Are you Christians?" "Yes, we are." "We're going to be sending our kids. Is that okay? How much is it going to cost?" "Bring your kids for free." So, and then we went 2 weeks later and sent the flyers out again. Just put them on the doors where people would see them when they're coming in.
What was the reaction of your church when it was filled with lots and lots of kids sitting in their pews?
It was better than I expected, actually. We get these syndromes, you know, where you're in my pew kind of a thing. The parents came in and were asking, why weren't we here this last week? You know, of course, we had the decorations up the week before, and it appealed to them, but some of them had missed because it's summer and they're on vacation. When they came in the next week and they see it, they're like, "Oh, wow, you know, oh, that I could be a kid again," kind of a thing. When they saw their church filled with people that they didn't recognize, and the front 3 pews, as I recall, were all children, you know, with their scuba leaders sitting next to them. You know, it was just spectacular to see, and I think the parents had a great response. The members themselves had great response, saying, "Hey, this is something we want to see every Sabbath." You know, our church is very committed to it. They're kids, and if we have kids up front doing things or sitting on the front row paying attention, and their parents are in the pews supporting them, then they get excited about that, and I think that we accomplished that.
Any advice that you have for pastors that are thinking of doing a Vacation Bible School next summer?
I think the thing that I learned that as a pastor, on Sabbath morning I like to preach. I'm very competitive about my pulpit. You know, that's my time to address the congregation and feed them. What I've learned is that they can be fed sometimes more so from the words of a child. So as far as a graduation ceremony is concerned, I've learned that we shouldn't feel obligated to have a service that flows like it normally does. What I learned is that even my staunch traditionalists in my congregation loved the change. They enjoyed seeing the young people up. I have not gotten a single complaint out of our, the change in our worship. We didn't have an opening hymn. We didn't have a closing hymn. Everything was about the kids. And one thing that I did do is I stood up and I said, "I'm so glad to be a part of a church that cares this much about their kids." You know, Jesus rebuked the disciples for pushing the kids away. What's wrong with having a church service for the kids? And what I found is parents enjoy it. When their kids are happy, the parents are happy. So in that regard, let it flow. Do what you can to make it a kid, all about the kids. That's what it's about. And for the Vacation Bible School itself, to make it spectacular and enjoyable, do the unexpected and go overboard with it. And I say that, tongue in cheek, since we did the scuba undersea thing. But, nobody expected to walk in on Sabbath morning and have saran wrap with waves painted on it hanging over their heads, and blow up fish hanging down, and felts on the wall up in front with a big fish named Gil saying, "Come scuba," those types of things. Those made an impact. And I don't apologize for doing creative and new things for my church, and I don't think any pastor should.